Hey y'all. So I've never had to do this lesson virtually. So we'll see how today goes. Hope it's not too confusing. I think it's pretty interesting. So this is going to start out our Asian art unit. And what I like to do is when we start out our Asian art unit is talk about stereotypes. Since that seems to be a thing that comes up a lot when we talk about Asian art. So what I need you to do to be able to follow along with the lecture as you're filling out the notes is to be able to split screen so that way you have the stereotype notes on one side of your screen. And obviously, I'll be using the presentation, but in your case, you'll be using the video. So to do that on your Chromebook, all you have to do is press Alt. And then if you look, there's little brackets. The left bracket puts it on the left side, the right bracket puts it on the right side. So Alt and then bracket. If you're still having trouble, just Google search how to separate your windows on Chromebook with the keyboard, how to do side-by-side tabs on the keyboard on Chromebook with your keyboard. You get the idea. So what this document will act as, I'll be going through the presentation and you'll have to do some things as I go through each slide. So for this first part, we'll be doing kind of an activity where you'll be hiring and firing people. So that's what you'll use the top part for. When we're done with that, you'll use the rest of the document to basically kind of answer questions. So let's jump on in. Okay, so for this scenario, you'll be in charge of choosing someone that will be in charge of colonizing the moon. It's only creepy that I say that now because Nokia just won a contract to put 4G on the moon for a moon base by the end of the decade. That's not fake news. That's literal, real news right now. So anywho, so you're going to have to vote on hiring the best engineer to set up life on moon. Obviously, it'll be a big job. It's going to make history. And you need to pick the right person with resilient, determined, has engineering expertise, and great people skills. These are all important for that moon base. So here's how we're going to choose our apprentice. Each round, I'm going to reveal a different layer of information, and you're going to have to choose to fire someone. Eventually, you'll have one candidate left, and that will be your hire. So let's see who you're going to fire and who you're going to hire. All right. Here are the names. We have Ali, Patrick, Jamie, David, Adriana, Hannah, and Delroy. If you look at your notes, you can see the same exact thing, the same boxes on yours. See? Beep, 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 right there. So what I want you to do is, in order to fire someone, just click on one of these and hit X. All right, there. I just randomly fired Jamie. You can choose to fire whoever you want. Just put an X in their name. All right. So once you have fired them and put an X on their name, now I'm going to tell you, here's their full names. We have Ali Abdul, Patrick Murphy, Jamie Small, Dave Campbell, Adriana Cabroni, Hannah Mann, and Delroy Bailey. So last round you fired someone. So this one, now that you see their full names, go ahead and fire someone. All right, now for the next layer. Here's what they look like. I always like this little gotcha moment because then people realize, oh no, I fired the guy in the wheelchair. I feel terrible about myself. Did you fire the guy in the wheelchair? Shame. I'm just kidding. All right, so now you got them. Go ahead. Now, based off their pictures, go ahead and fire someone. All right, now here is the candidate's sexuality. We have quite the spectrum here. So go ahead. Now that you know this person's preference, go ahead and fire someone. Here are their physical and mental qualities. So some are physically fit, but might have to wear glasses or have anxiety. Hannah is pregnant. David is obviously physically disabled. So go ahead and pick someone for your moon mission. Here are their qualifications. Now you got to fire someone based off of who you got left and what they can do to give you the best candidate for this moon mission. So what should happen is you should have at least one person left. So now what I'm curious is, who would you have left? Who was the person that you chose to go set up the moon base? Well, I hope your reaction to this is that I hope that it feels not right or weird or kind of off. Imagine if you were one of those people that applied to be on this moon mission and you get randomly fired this way. Now, I know for us, it feels like what we just went through isn't real and that's not actually how it happens. And yeah, like I'm sure in NASA, that's not actually what would happen. But this is historically what has happened with people and is still to this day kind of happening. So, for example, think about how colleges used to have to require like headshots. Well, that can be kind of problematic, right? So we talk about biases a lot in especially our current cultural climate right now, but we all have them. And being aware of them is the first step, which is why when we jump into Asian art, a lot of those stereotypes come to the forefront. Our activity on Monday, we'll deal with some of those stereotypes specifically in Asian art. But for right now, I just want you to think about how stereotypes affect you and your life, and more importantly, your perception of reality. So to do that, go ahead and answer these first 7 questions. They'll basically ask you to reflect on the activity we just did of our inappropriate hiring practices. Because really, if you think about it, we just did the opposite of the reverse of what it should be. You should start with their qualifications and then maybe see the other stuff. Once you're done with that, let's make it personal. So then I want you to go ahead and think of like 5 stereotypical things about teenagers, right? Like sometimes they'll put like, teenagers are lazy, or on their phones. Get the idea. Think of 5 things that are stereotypes that people say to you, or you've heard about teenagers that are maybe not so much true, but also kind of hurtful. And then once you're done with those 5 kind of stereotypes of teenagers, answer these questions, which is, are those fair? And what can the consequence of those stereotypes be? So if I, as an adult, get to see you in class for the first time, and I go ahead and stereotype you, how's that going to affect you? Which leads to the last part, which are, what are 3 kind of consequences that stereotypes have? Kind of important to reflect on. So yeah, that's all you got to do. Go ahead and fill this out, answer the questions, reflect, and turn it in. And that's all you got for this week. Thanks, y'all.